you're having a beautiful day today. The sun is shining, there's some clouds in the sky. I've got a little bit of today's coffee, iced coffee. I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of embracing moments of solitude on a spiritual or divine path. I don't know. I know that some of the people who are watching this probably can relate to being on a path like that, and if you are, then you probably understand some of the importance of solitude, or something has called you to experience more solitude in your life, and it can be hard because I understand, like, the biological form, we in a way crave that companionship, and that experience is here to teach us something. If I think some of the challenges is if you're somebody who resonates with the idea of being on a more spiritual or divine path in this lifetime, then you may be called to be a light for yourself and then ultimately others. And the only way to become a light for yourself is to truly understand your own darkness. The only way to do that is, like, through, I think, periods of self-reflection, which can really only be done truly in solitude. Now, I'm not saying, like, close yourself off to the world, but as far as, as far as a spiritual path goes, we all come into biological form in order to learn and experience. And in relating with others, we become a mirror showing us our limitations with our emotions, with our thought patterns, with our, the way that we view ourselves with an unconditional love lens. And I think if you're somebody who considers yourself on a spiritual or divine path, then you've probably been through some stuff in your life. For me, a lot of it was like through romantic relationships and work relationships. And ultimately what I was like, I realized in my own life that maybe I was holding space for things that were out of alignment because of my own fear of feeling lonely or abandoned. So I would hold on to things a lot longer than I probably needed to. But I am just going to say that without those experiences, I wouldn't have learned what I learned. So, sometimes we hold on to that stuff longer, and there's wisdom in that. So, but I will say, like, I've reached sort of a level in my life where I spent a lot of time in the last year in solitude. And now I wouldn't say that I was alone. I didn't go to a cave on an island in the middle of nowhere and live by myself. I've continued to interact with people, but I just completely adjusted my life to where I can go days at a time without going out. And when I do go out, it's way more intentional now. I know exactly why I'm going out, and um, I usually go out alone, and then I run into people I know, and I'm like, okay, it's meant to be. But I have found that it is such a refreshing experience for me to be alone. And it's actually brought out a lot of creativity in me, because I remember when I was a child, I spent a lot of time alone, and when I was alone, I created all kinds of stuff. Like I was into music and art and just being silly, and so spending time in solitude now is actually bringing that back for me, and realizing that in solitude is the only way that I was able to develop a relationship with my inner voice. And that inner voice is a guide. It's a guide for my life. And once I sort of quieted the external noise and just really sat with my own voice and my own experience, I realized like that program is always running in the background. And in a way, the people and the things we interact with on a regular basis take on the face of that inner voice, when in reality that inner voice is actually like my higher guidance system. And so in solitude, I have come back to myself in that, and now when I hear that voice, I can discern better, this is my guidance system versus this is an internal judgment that I held at one time based on a fear that I would lose connection. And so, I mean, that's kind of a complicated way to say it, but basically, like, I had the opportunity to self-reflect on that inner voice and really pay attention to what I was telling myself and the fears that were coming up, and, you know, the face, think about the face that I put on the thoughts that come up. And the more time I spend in solitude, the more I realize, like, the face that we put on our own internal judgment is just that. It's just a face. It's not a real thing. And when we take the face away from that internal judgment or that future speculation on whatever it is, like, take the face away. Just take the face away from that and just know that that's your own guidance system, and have a dialogue with it. Learn how to interact with your own inner world, because that becomes the external world. Now, if we don't take time in solitude, then our external world becomes our internal world. So, to have control over your life, it has to be from the inside out. Because if we put too much weight on our external experiences and the people we interact with and how we interact on a daily basis with the energies of other people, those people and those experiences take on the face of our own internal growth. It basically, it's like the idea of giving your power away to another. It's like creating idols out of the people we relate to on an external experience. Like, it has to come from within first. That has to be the most important relationship that you have, has got to be the relationship with your own inner voice, own guidance system, because that sets the tone for everything. And then that gets projected to the outside world, versus the outside world becoming internalized. Like, I realized in my own life, sometimes when I would be like caught in these uncomfortable energetic situations, like around work or a relationship or something like that, the face of my pain in my mind would be whoever I'm having conflict with. And ultimately, all these experiences are here to teach us something about ourselves, about being discerning, about the way that energies interplay with each other and how we grow and learn to come back to ourselves and hold ourselves in a high regard, that I can make decisions for my best good, my highest good, because I have a strengthened internal compass. And I will always come back to that. I have found, like, after spending a lot of time in solitude, I will go out, like, I'm actually a performer, so I spend a lot of time, like, not a lot of time because it's all balanced now, but, I spend time interacting with people in the external world, and my relationships with people have evolved so much. Like, I am much more capable of being present and patient with people because I'm grounded in my internal experience. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still, like, things still happen that can throw somebody off, but just in general, I'm so much more grounded in my experience, and I'm able to be more present with people, that I go out and interact and then maybe have, like, a really cool conversation about something that is helpful to each other on our journey. Like, that, those are the experiences that I have more of now when I go out, versus when I think about who I was in the past. It was like, sometimes I would be in these situations out in public, not even because I really wanted to be there, but just because I didn't want to be alone. Like, oh, I'm just going to be at home alone while everybody else is out having a good time. It's like, I have so much joy being myself in my home now that it kind of takes a lot to get me out of there. I mean, I'm at home, like, I'm so fortunate, and I give, I have so much gratitude for this journey and for the people that I've encountered on this journey, because I have been able to, sorry, I got a little itchy nose here. I've been able to manifest a reality, for right now at least, where my home is like my womb. It's such a sacred place for me. I have all my little spots in my house where I have all my different creative things that I do, my music, my art, I love to cook, I love to dance. I do glass work as well. Like, I just love it. I just love to be in that space, and it's taken a long time. It's taken a lot of work, and a lot of pain to get to this place in my life. And for a while there, it was hard because, like, I worried that people would see me and just be like, oh, well, she's she surely hasn't had any challenges in life. And the more that I go through periods of solitude, and I'm like a big journaler, and I think I lost a leaf. I like to collect cool leaves. And here's one. That was a cool one. On my adventures. But yeah, through the experience of solitude, I faced lots of worries, like, oh, well, people don't know me, so they won't understand where this wisdom comes from. But none of that matters, because being on this journey is not about making some bold statement about it. It's just about embodying your own inner light, your own inner essence, just learning how to literally be comfortable with yourself. I mean, the idea of making videos like this is like, I remember at one point it was like scary to think about this, but I have listened to videos of other people, for many years, meditations and things like that, and and the message is the message. Like, it's not necessary for me to. It's unnecessary to recount all my suffering that got me here. Like, it's unnecessary to wear that suffering like a badge, to make some kind of proof about my worthiness of expressing what I've learned in this lifetime. Like, it's not necessary. We are all here in some capacity in this same journey. We all have the same wants and desires as far as the physical form, and we needs. We have physical needs in order to survive, and we all have a spark, a spirit that lives within us that calls us out of that cycle of biological needs. And in that way we're all connected, and if we can just understand that common thread exists in every person that's alive, really the goal is to start to gravitate towards things that connect us more than things that divide us. And that being able to hold that reality must come from comfort in oneself. And if you're somebody who's had a lot of pain in their life, try to create some solitude in a healthy way, and just know that the feelings of loneliness that arise, they are temporary. And come up with some sort of thing that you can do in the physical that when you start to feel that emptiness, that you can do to just allow it to flow through, because those feelings will come up. And I know that it's hard. Like, when I was beginning this, I would be alone, and then I would feel lonely sometimes. And I was like, well, I'll call up a friend, or I'll go out here, or I'll go do this. And then I started to think, like, okay, well, if I go out and do this, then that's real time that I am taking away from, like, working on that new song that I wanted to do. And over time, the choices that I made, because I was able to see that each moment was in fact a choice, and that I didn't have to just be driven by those panic feelings that came up inside of me, it gave me the opportunity to be like, well, wait a second, I like, loneliness is just a temporary feeling, but like, what I do with my time is actually very important. And what do I want to do with my time? I think I would rather stay home and work on this project that I've really been thinking about. And over time, I just naturally gravitated towards that. And now I don't feel the loneliness like I used to. Occasionally I'll want to hang out, and it's funny because sometimes I want to hang out with people, and I'll like put some feelers out there. But if it doesn't align right, then I just accept it and continue moving forward in the things that bring me joy in my own personal life. So, yeah, just some thoughts on solitude, developing our inner voice, and having strength in self. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching me and being a support on this journey. This is the beginning of something for me, and I hope that it brings you joy too.